I woke up to my friend Michelle from Silver Lining Oracle. She gave me a tarot reading. So I have this tarot reading to go through pictures and notes that she sent me. And it's about this winter spread, taking what I'm learning from this winter, resting and reflecting with it right now so that I can integrate these lessons. And that way I need to really know what the lessons I've come across so that I can level up. So I really need to be clear on what are these lessons so that I don't repeat, I wrote that down here. I don't repeat them over and over again. I can go ahead and move on and find some new lessons. So what I decided to do, instead of just going through the notes that she gave me, I had this thought form printed out because it messed up at the bottom. So I didn't want to throw it away and waste the paper, but I didn't want to sell it to somebody and, use this at our event on Saturday night. So I figured I would just fill in the questions of this 7-card spread that she gave me. I would just fill them into this thought form. And as I was, taking the notes to go and do this part, write down what she sent me, I realized I could put those questions in the 6 outer spheres and then the 7th one being my purpose. And I know that she likes to go around this rotation. So I just started writing down the questions from what she gave me to start there. And as I was filling them in, writing them around the images, I could really see how the questions really went with the artwork. I could see some symbology there. So I was starting to think wow, this is why these tarot spreads are so valuable, because it really is linking your psychic information, your shadow experiences, and then it's integrating it into your current perspective, your current moment. So really it's just kind of this internal guide being spoken to yourself. So the purpose is, what is for your future growth? What is this all about for your future growth? And to me, it really symbolically, this is the Witches Brew. If I uncover this lesson, that I'm going to rest and reflect with right now, what is the future growth that I will be brewing with this spread? Perhaps it's a house. Isn't that beautiful? I would love to live there. So now what I've done is I've laid out the reading that Michelle at Silver Lining Oracle did for me. She had given me distinct questions for this specific winter spread, kind of what will I be needing to reflect on and rest with during this winter so that I could learn a lesson from it. And so I had decided to go ahead and just fill it into this oracle spread that her and I are going to be doing for a party on Saturday. So these are the lessons that I'm learning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of share my reflection of what my personal reading was and how I contemplated it and then found a message to put in the seed word so that you can understand not only how maybe an oracle or tarot reading might go for someone and that is unfamiliar with the process. This could be a way that you could perceive it, but also so that other people would be able to understand how to take those thoughts and feelings and integrate them into visual thought form so that you can kind of see a mind map or a larger picture of what the psychological experiences, the ideas that are shared in tarot cards or oracle cards, what they're telling you about your psyche or your shadow or your dreams and wishes. So I'm going to use my example as an example for you. So let's dive in. The first thing that came up was, what is my energy like right now? And the card that she drew for me was intuition. So what I did is I just took some notes on the intuition information that she provided for me. And then I took that and then I came up with this idea that I'm grounding this affirmation, that I am developing my intuition, that from my current life experience, whether it's challenging or if it's fruitful, it's teaching me something. So I'm looking at everything as important. I'm trying to pay attention to all of it and to really be present with my now moment. So I believe that what that's doing is it's it's charging my intuition, it's developing it, it's sharpening it, it's removing myself from the distractions that prevent me from accessing my intuition. So that's what I'm grounding in this witch's brew that I'm coming up with. And so then the next question was, what do I need to reflect on right now? And for the intention sphere, so that reading, the card that I got was to greet the darkness, for me to really confront my old wounds and memories and feelings of shame and guilt, like to really ponder and reflect on this. So what I realize is that there's always going to be a shadow of this body that I'm living within, that I'm always going to be discovering unknown aspects of me. And so that basically what I want to do is I want to bring in that awareness that I'll always be learning something, and to always be seeking out that, you know, those like triggers, those moments where something, you know, the wind is blowing heavy and life is telling me something, communicating to me through my intuition, that I pay attention and I uncover what that secret message is, you know, what that suffering might be telling me. And so now I'm going over to the observe sphere. And that question that I did was, what is the lesson of this situation? So what it taught me was the value to value this altar that I've created, this, you know, to go ahead and respect that, even though I'm not living in what I want to live in, and I'm not working in what I want to be working in, I've made it right here. Like, I can't fail to see that I've already done something spectacular, that I have the time and space. I have this beautiful altar for me to commune with and live in alignment with nature so that I can develop my intuition. So what I had put down here is to accept where I am, that where I want to be is already the success. I shouldn't overlook the accomplishment of me getting here. And so ancestors came up, and I'm really not sure, like, I'm just not exactly sure how to approach the idea of ancestors and spirits, because it's not something that, like, I think that I talk to spirits or dead people or like people, you know, Ram Dass, unembodied, you know, beings. I don't experience anything like that. So to me, my ancestors are just my grandparents or people that have gone before me. But that is this message that of what am I missing? Like, if that's only how I'm seeing it, then maybe I'm missing something and that I should look a little bit deeper. So the question was, what is something that I overlooked? And the answer was ancestors. And so what I did, like with the other cards, is I wrote down the details from the information that she gave me, and then it kind of gave, like, these were the details, and it kind of made it seem like a conversation, that my ancestors are telling me to go forward, that it's safe, that this all of this has a purpose, you know, not to fret, but to, you know, be happy and feel like I am home and I'm grounded, to like actually feel that experience that I live here in this little, you know, Molly paradise, right? So then I came over to the express sphere, and the question was, how can I refresh my energy? And for that, I already had a broom drawn here, because this is part of this Witches Brew crystal grid that we're going to do at a party on Saturday. But then when I, you know, because I got herbs and crystals, I decided to pull out this book and then just flip it to a random page. And the broom came up. So there's an herb. Oh, actually, no, there's two sinks. So the fire came up. It was the burning bush. So when I picked up this book, it was the burning bush was the herb that I got. And then when I was sharing this with Michelle, she'd sent something else, like an extra card, and it had to do with a broom as an herb, not an actual broom. But there's a herb that's called a broom. And the answer for this question was herbs and crystals. So what it's telling me is to call in assistance from earth energy, which to me is interesting, because what I'm saying about ancestors, that I, you know, like, who exactly am I calling? You know, like, who am I talking to? And are they present to listen and, you know, exchange with me in some way? Like, I don't have that direct experience, so it's not something that I can talk about. It's only things that I consume ideas from other people and then try to relate to. So the answer for me for this question is for me to just be here in nature, you know, to appreciate this home that I've cultivated out here at the 5-acre woods, the sacred woods. So that's my express sphere. But since the broom came up, it was kind of interesting because I drew it on this spread, but this is another reading that Michelle had done for me from Silver Lining Oracle, and I had got this broom card. So I actually, from the same deck of cards that this reading is from, I got the broom card, the lesson learned in this situation. So clear and master my energy field and space. So to me, this kind of goes along with the observe, that it's very important for me to be out here in nature, that this is part of my, my quantum me, my highest aspect, for me to live out here and perhaps become this witch, this, way of putting the shadows and subconscious mind forward into an artful way so that you can see it and to really approach it in a cycle of nature, just as the seasons change or there's night and day. So anyways, moving on. So refine, the question was how to protect myself from future storms. And the answer was apples. And so it was really talking about having discernment to not get tricked, not to get fooled, not to not to be wow, I can't even say the word. Deception, like not to fall for deception, that mistrusting people, that I need to really pause before I do anything and make sure that I'm not being tricked or duped in any way. So I also kind of related it to apples as far as fruition, that things are coming into harvest, that there is this right time. Sometimes you do have to pause for something else to take place. And then that's kind of the Kairos idea. So I pulled this sort of negative idea into a refinement and a lesson. And then I put that here, which is to live from my inner nature. Just, develop my intuition, follow my intuition, and then, respond as necessary. That, ideally, if my intuition is, developed, then I run into less issues. But if I run into an issue, realize that, I'm home, I'm grounded, I can figure this out, I can find a solution. There's no issue, there's no problem, there's only lessons to be learned. So that is that's my Witches Brew reading, my personal one. And if you want one of these done yourself, Michelle and I are offering these probably for the rest of the fall, but we have other crystal grids if it ends up being another time of year. So if you want one, just reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to serve you. Make you a brew. Oh, future growth. That's right. Okay, so that's why I was being silly right now. Because I almost forgot something. The 7th card was the what was the question? Well, the question was basically, what is my future growth? What will be my future growth from this reading? And the answer that I got was nature spirits. So I wrote some things down here about nature spirits from the information that she provided. And then I did a YouTube video, a guided YouTube video about nature spirits. And this might have been from the information that she provided, but then I just put it in a speech bubble as if the spirits are telling me that I'm ready to take flight, which goes back into that idea of like ancestors, who are these spirits? Where are they? Like, how do they interact? Are they real or are they imaginary? So I don't know. I think that it just all kinds of plays into this time of year, and I really find it fascinating. And if you want us to do one for you, then I'm sure that we can make some time together.